Yeah, we want you to have a extremely 110% healthy surgery. That's all I want.
Well, nobody knew I was having surgery, but now they do. So thank you for that.
Well, I want this all to work out
Yeah,
fantastic. That's
I was
all.
trying to keep that under wraps, Perry. But you go ahead and tell everybody. Go
I'm
right ahead.
sorry, but I'm sorry. That's all. I'm sorry. Okay, kids.
All right.
Have a
Just a
great
mind. By the
week.
way,
Have a
by the
great
way,
weekend, and I'll see you in a couple of
by the way,
days.
everybody, before people start saying anything, it's very minor. It's not a big deal. It's just something I got to take care of. Okay.
Right.
You can always rely on.
And Tim Richards, I will see you Saturday evening at the Bow, 6 p.m. sharp. Kavish, look forward to seeing you.
That's what's most important.
All right. Saturday night, Kim Richards, Rainbow Bar and Grill, 6 p.m. sharp. All right.
All right. I'm gonna
That's right now
contact. I'm
most
gonna
important for
contact
me.
Kim and I'll see if that's for real.
You're going to contact Kim and make sure that's
Yeah,
positive?
and make sure it's everything's set up. Yeah, and if you
Good,
get a
good, good,
free
good,
meal.
good.
All right.
I'm buying her a meal or is she buying me a meal? I'll pay for dinner. That's fine with me.
Well, she offered to pay for you, and she's a
If
rich
she offered
celebrity.
to pay for me, then fine.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. All right, kids. Everybody, love and hugs and kisses and all the good shit, and have a great night.
Good
All
night,
right.
Perry.
And you
All right.
know
Good night.
when to turn off.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Got it. Yep. Ciao.
Bye.
Lights out. Bye.
Good night.
The phone's still on, but
No, it's
the
not.
picture of the phone is out.
It's not.
What's not? I hear you.
Yeah, you hear me over the Skype, but
Oh,
I'm about to close that out.
okay.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Good night.
Oh boy. You can always rely on Perry. I was very impressed with his rollerblading skills tonight. No, I don't worry. Phantom Jesus, we don't want to hear him beat off. I don't want to hear that either. And I won't say I've heard it, but I've come real close. I've come real close. Well, truth be told, I was gonna say something anyway, but it was it's fine that what better way to get important news out there than to have Perry report it for you? Oh, Hojo, if that was your media share, that fucking ruled. I want to play that every single stream. That ruled. I loved it. It was fantastic. Absolutely. They were all really good tonight. But yeah, that ruled. Really good job, and everybody really good job. It was very good, very good. Don't tell Perry shit. Yeah, Perry's always the guy that you want to share stuff with. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. I can't do after hours tonight. Not because of any medical reasons, but I just I didn't get much sleep last night, and crappy day today. I actually went to the city last night. Oh God, I can't even get into the story because it would take me forever to explain it. But ugh, it was a long night, and not much sleep last night. And Perry, my whole life revolves around Perry like doing something because then I forgot to turn my ringer off, and he called me like I was sleeping in, but of course, when he wakes me up, I was 10 a.m. my time, right? So it's like 7 a.m. Like, what the hell is he doing up at 7 a.m.? And he called me. No, it's not hernia surgery. No, nothing like that. It's not a sex change. Yeah, and Cha-Cha, yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. It's just something I got to get taken care of. Breast implants? No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Thanks, Danko. Appreciate it. Joey says Tom's going to be recovering from surgery and his cell phone has 47 minutes worth of emails from Perry and voicemails too. I mean, look, I mentioned it earlier. Like, so I have to have this like special service because I think I don't know what the time limit is for most regular voicemails. Like, I think it's like 3 minutes is universal. Maybe you'll get a little bit more. But I pay for this service, so my voicemail gets routed to this thing, and it's unlimited. And Perry makes every use of that. The other day, after DSP's henchman paid a visit, he left me like a 13-minute long voicemail. That only Perry does. I mean, the only reason I have the service, obviously, is for him. And he just goes on and on and on. So if you want to hear that, all the videos and all the, I think it's like in 6 parts of the henchman stuff from yesterday, which kind of just came about, I hate saying organically because it's such an overused phrase, but organically. And, Perry took video, the henchman took video, and then I got his 2 voicemails from Perry. So if you're on Patreon, check that out. It's, a lot of people seem to enjoy that. But, yeah, it's interesting to hear him just talk to himself. He's not talking to himself. He's talking to a voicemail, but he's just going on and on and on and on. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like somebody says, you don't need an alarm clock. Perry's got your back. Yeah, the couple of days where I can actually sleep in, it's like. When he's waking, once in a while, like my dad will call or somebody, the phone will go off. Stupidly, because you know what, I reset my phone recently, and I used to have the do not disturb thing on, and I used to have it set from like midnight till 8 a.m. Like so nothing, no, I don't have any text notifications. Those drive me crazy. I hate when friends have it too. Like if I'm out with somebody and their text messages keep like blinging off like every 2 seconds, it drives me crazy. It's not something I think you need a sound for. Like, you can just look at your phone and see when you have text messages. People look at their phone often enough where they know you have a text message. I don't need to hear a bling or an alert every time. So the only thing I have a noise for is phone calls. I don't have email, no sound or anything like that. It would just drive me crazy. I hate that Facebook Messenger default sound. That's one of the worst sounds ever. I hate that. And I also hate when people have the default sounds for their phones. Like the default iPhone ring or the default iPhone text message chime or, the Samsung ring or the Samsung. I hate all those sounds. I get very annoyed with people if I'm out with them and their things start dinging on every 2 seconds. So I don't have any of that. The only thing I have is the phone. Not a lot of people call at those hours, but so I set do not disturb. And it's set to like, if somebody calls more than 2 times in a row, it will get through because that could be an emergency. So I just figured getting it in. Like penis reduction, no. I'm not getting that. I'm quiet. Freckle surgery, Liz says. No. Neutered, leg removed. AIDS therapy. Sex change. No, and no. Colonoscopy, no. I'm a little too, not quite there yet. Oh, and Perry, and that's the other thing too on the phone, because I'm not assuming that everybody heard those voicemails, but Perry's calling me, and it's like, God, I think it was noon my time. I think that's what it was. This was Tuesday, and he called me a lazy. He's like, "You're not answering the phone because you're a lazy fuck." So he actually called me lazy. Which takes the cake. Perry calling you lazy. It's that's unique. Garrett says keep the phone on vibrate. Oh my god, I hate vibrate more than anything. I hate vibrate. And there's some apps that vibrate, like Discord. I keep forgetting to I got the Discord app on my phone, and every time somebody sends a message or something like that, it does that little zzz, and I'm too lazy to go through all the settings. There I'm lazy to turn it off, but I have to disable any app that does vibrate. I fucking hate vibrate. Danko says you told people to turn off all their notification sounds because they drive you insane. Yeah, they drive me up the wall. Are the default Rick latest VIP asks, are the default sounds worse than the ringtone on Perry's phone? No, nothing's worse than that. That I hear that ringtone and it just makes me angry. I don't know why. Even I'm with him in person or I hear it over the Skype feed or whatever. That ringtone, I don't know why, because he chose it too. It didn't come default. It's just, yeah, it's terrible. Data Nate says he rocks the default iPhone tone remixed to the Curb Your Enthusiasm tune. Well, that could be interesting. You like? I don't like. I don't think the vibrate because the vibrate's too annoying, especially if you have the phone on a flat surface. I hate that noise, and that'll wake me up too. So I don't like that. I hate any ring. I really judge people on. I mean, on everything, but I judge people on what ringtones they use. I just feel like that's such an old person thing to get a phone, no matter what it is. If it's an iPhone, if it's a Samsung, or whatever, Google phone, or whatever your choice of phone is, and then you don't customize it at all. You're just fine with whatever they give you. You're fine with whatever song comes up as a ringtone or whatever chime comes in. No, at least go through the effort of making it something different so you don't sound like everybody else's phone. I have a friend who has first of all, I also judge men who have iPhones. That's a different thing, but he has stock everything, and then if you're in a store or a bar or anywhere where there's other people and they have chimes go off, you're always looking at your phone oh, is that me? It's well, it wouldn't be if you weren't such a basic idiot who doesn't change their notification settings. At least change if you're gonna have chimes. I don't think you need chimes for text messages or emails because again, you'll see it when you look at the phone. But if you do, at least mix it up. At least change it to something different. That's my thing. Liz doesn't get Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's very good. There's a couple of clunkers in Curb Your Enthusiasm. The season before this last one that came out was really bad to the point where I was like, oh boy, it's over. But this past season was fantastic. He really turned it around. So. I have to, and I don't watch too many comedies. In fact, I don't watch any comedies. I'll watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia out of loyalty, but past couple of seasons have been pretty brutal. But Curb still hits the mark. I really think it does. Also, because I'm really sick of Seinfeld at this point. Not that I don't like Seinfeld. I just need 10-year break from it. I'm kind of just annoyed by it. Danko's alarm is the King of Diamonds. Welcome Home or Morbid Angel's Maze of Torment. Other than that, my phone makes no sounds. That's good. That's the way it should be. That's right. I have a generic ring that I'll have, but for certain people, they have their own ringtone. Android lets you customize that. I don't know if iPhone does, but I have an iPhone too. I have an iPhone that I use for work and also for Perry. I call it the Perry phone. It's just easier to record calls on that now. It used to be easier to record on Android, but they took that feature away. Actually, that's what made me buy an Android, buy an iPhone, is the ability to record calls. But I have Back in Black for Perry, like something, and like my sister has her own thing. I have like a Nintendo thing for her. I have a friend that the Price is Right theme. Just like a couple of things. So if I'm in the other room and I hear the phone, I don't have to run over to it to see who it is. I know who it is. So I know if it's a regular ring, I don't have to go out of my way to answer it. If it's Back in Black, I know exactly who it is. So, yeah. That's a good point. Hannah says some people don't like arguing, and Larry is mostly arguing. Yeah. Yeah, the water park episode of It's Always Sunny is fantastic. Can I turn down the Ricky Horny music? It's weird because I guess I could. Because you don't get a lot of media options within Streamlabs and the thing. Yeah, there's a slider for it. I have it down. Yeah, how far down would you want it? Like 10 dB, 5 dB. I can crank it down a little bit. It's hard for me to hear how it sounds over the air. So, but there's very limited options. But I do have a slider for it. But it's like it's different because I have Ricky, because Ricky's different. Like it's not just Ricky, but it's the Ricky Horny song. It's any media thing is different for every scene you go to. So like here, this is the end scene, right? The Ring camera is its own scene. Perry's main camera is the own scene. Camera 2 is its own scene. And like for every one of those, I have to load in like Ricky or any media or anything like that individually. So, you have to adjust it. But if it's too loud, let me know. It's not, I see some people saying that it's fine. Yagi Chan, got to be up in 4 hours. Good night. I have to be up in 5 hours. I got to go into the city again because like this odyssey of I think I mentioned this back in April. I've talked about it before, but my friend in Ireland whose aunt passed away, who was in the city, is just never-ending struggle. So basically, I'm their point man to go take care of everything, and I did. I took care of all the arrangements. I took care of the funeral home. I took care of the body. I took care of the cremation and all that stuff. And the other thing that huge red tape is the fact that the apartment is sealed by the police. And this is somebody who passed away, lived in New York City, and then all her relatives were in Ireland, and they couldn't come over because of COVID and travel restrictions, blah blah blah. So I finally got a court order from a judge, and I called the police precinct. They said, I said, what's the best time to come in? They said, come in any time, but it's better to come in at night because during the day we're slammed, and you could be waiting a while to get a patrol person to take you over. And basically, what you have to do in this situation, and I didn't know any of this. When you're doing an apartment search, which means you're searching an apartment that's been sealed by the police. I don't know how it works in other cities, but this is how it works in New York. You have to get a court order from a judge. And the court is the Surrogates Court of New York, which is way down on Chambers Street, way downtown. I had to go there separately. So I have this, now I have the court order. I can go back and, go in. So I went into the city last night with a friend of mine. And, we just, went out to a couple of bars. I hadn't been drinking as much, but I kind of lifted that last night, and went around. And then I said, okay, it's late enough. I'm going to go over to that precinct. So I went over, and they had me sitting in there. I went to the desk sergeant, looks over the paperwork, checks my ID, everything looks good. We're going to get a patrol car, and you're going to go over there. And then I'm like, shit, I hope the apartment still has electricity because it's going to be hard to find. And what you got to do, you got to go in the apartment to find the will. You got to find the court order specifies you can only take out the will and like plot burial information, stuff like that. But in this case, I just needed the will, and because I'm not next of kin, there was some weird stipulation in this particular court order that the sergeant pointed out to me, and he said, we can't do this tonight because it says right here that you can go and they do give you permission. The judge gives you permission. Thomas Brennan can enter the premises with a police officer, which is standard procedure. You get the thing, but I have to turn the will over, whatever I find, over to the officer, and then we both have to go to the court together without haste, is the exact wording of the court order, to bring it back to the court. And they said because of that wording, I can't do it at night because I can only do it when the court's open. And another caveat to this is the surrogates court isn't open. They're still closed from like COVID. Because when I had to go, I had a whole issue where I had to go there and then I had to do stuff remotely and blah, blah, blah. So now it's a whole other area of red tape. And he said, hey, in my 40 years of being on the job, I've done a couple of these. I've done more than a few. I've never seen this kind of wording before. And he thinks it's because of the weird situation that the judge saw that I guess didn't trust me with the will because I technically have power of attorney, but the letter that states that I do isn't exactly clear in its wording. So anyway, that was my night last night, and I got back late, and I just couldn't get to sleep. And then I called Ireland. I called my friend to tell him the latest news on it. He's like, it's just never ending. And he's like, and he actually was funny. He's like, boy, I owe you a drink. I owe you a drink or two for what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, you owe me more than that. You better get more than a drink out of this. Not to mention I had to pay like $2,000 for the to the funeral home for the body to be picked up and cremated and the whole 9 yards and get a death certificate. And then I got to redo the death certificate because I didn't have her social security number at the time. So anyway, that's long and the short of it. And I got to go back tomorrow morning early to see if I can actually get it done. So it may or may not. It's just it's never ending. Never ending. So that's me. But but it was nice being in the city. I saw a lot of rats in the city, more rats than I've ever seen, and I lived in the city for a long time, and I'm petrified of rats. I mean, they just don't give a fuck anymore. They're just out and about. And it was garbage night, and that's the one gross thing about New York is all their garbage is on the side of the street. And anytime we were walking down the street, they just dart out right in front of you, big fat rats, and I am petrified, absolutely petrified. So I was having a little mini panic attacks. Liz says, I think Tom could live in heaven and have a problem with the quality of the clouds. Yeah, I do. I could. Hey, look, you know what? I'm particular. I think everybody should be particular, okay? You shouldn't settle. Don't settle in life. You know what? Find out what you like. Zone in on those things. And yeah, I'm a lot of things annoy me, and I am quirky in that way, but, whatever. Sorry, catching up on chat. I'm way behind. Put a speaker in the bathroom to hurry him up. Yeah, I don't know how. I think that's just going to be the nature of the beast. Unfortunately. I can make Perry's ring Ricky horny, actually, if I wanted to, just to mix it up. I'm getting a little sick of Back in Black. Tom gives so much of his time away. Yeah, I know. Joey says this buddy doesn't happen to be a relocated Nigerian prince or something. I know it feels like. I swear to God, it's starting to feel like that. It's just yeah. And he was supposed to come over here in September, and I was hoping it was going to line up with the PCL break, but it obviously won't, because they won't let anybody over who isn't a citizen right now, and I don't think it's going to get any better in September or October. So I think that's just going to get pushed back. I need a good rat club or a spear. Danko says, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even go near them. I wouldn't even go near them to kick them. I am petrified of them. And I'm not scared of a lot of things. Like, I have no fear of snakes. I know some people get really freaked out by cockroaches. I have no thing with cockroaches. I don't care. Yeah. But it's just rats just freak me. Like seeing them scurry, it does something to me. Like, I just, oof, even talking about it. There was so many last night. They used to like come out like very late, and they, if people were around, they like that. That's not the case anymore. These are like post-COVID rats. They don't care. Eatermock says the time spent holding Perry and the time with this Irish family. It's crazy to me. I know. It's not all bad. Look, and the truth is, as annoying as this process has been, I think about them. My friend Kevin, who's one of my absolute best friends. I love the guy. I've known him forever, and we don't see each other all the time, obviously, because he lives in Dublin. But we talk all the time, and he's a great guy. We've been through a lot together, and he was really close to his aunt and his dad. It's his dad's sister, and I know his dad really well. I've spent time in their home and everything, and I just think, if that was me, I'd want somebody to be point man for me, and that's the way I look at it. Yes, it is a pain in the ass. Believe me, I could write a book on this whole process now. It is so bad, but you do that for people who you care about, and they have nobody else. Because and to be honest with you, if it wasn't for me, that body would have been just lost. Like like if you don't claim a body, I don't know how it is with the medical examiners in other cities, but in New York City, if you don't claim a body within 60 days, it just goes in as like a John or Jane Doe, and they'll bury it on some island somewhere. I forget the name of the island, but they unidentified people. It would just get tossed away. So. Yeah, by the way, was anybody else more annoyed at that chapstick thing tonight than me? I was so... And it was when that video came in, it was a good video, like the woman who hit the ball right at the camera, and right at the money shot, he decides to go look down and reach for that chapstick. And that it's not just the chapstick, it signifies his lack of... I won't say care, because I know he cares about it, but his lack of just like cognizance of being on the air and being a broadcaster, and be like, yeah, I'm just going to do this now, and look down. I mean, how many times a stream does he put that stupid chapstick on, or beeswax, whatever the hell it is? And it just, tonight it just drove me crazy. I was just like, all right, enough banning chapstick. It's just there's no point to it. It's so stupid. God, I just saw that and I was like, ugh. I never use chapstick, by the way, and I live in New York. And the weather is changing all that. And like maybe I put chapstick on, or a chapstick-like product, like 2 times a year, if that. Maybe I'm wrong. No, California is really not that dry. I've been out there many times. It's not that dry. It's not that bad. I think it's an OCD thing too. It's definitely an OCD thing. It's just, I don't know. He needs to fidget with things. He's doing less. I'm going to say this now, and then I'll start doing it again. But like, he used to like dart around and fidget with stuff on his desk, and like disengage. But I I'm seeing him do less of that. I'll tell you what, that whole DSP henchman thing yesterday legitimately fired him up because I talked to him a while, like, you know, after the fact, and he was like, he wanted to do a stream yesterday. He wanted to do a stream like immediately. He's like, I want to go on right fucking now and tell everybody what this motherfucker is doing. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, Perry, I can't do it. I was in the city, so I couldn't. It's like I have no way of doing this, Perry. But he was fired up, and he's like, this motherfucker is lighting a fire under me, a raging fire, and PCL is going right to the top, and he's going down. You know, it was a lot of that kind of talk. Like he was like, you know, so which was good. It like definitely fired him up to like be more passionate about you know, doing the streams and everything. So that's one good thing that came out of it. I did feel bad for the maintenance man that had to be involved. But then, you know, it was like I think it got hauled away in like a dolly, like a cart thing, so it wasn't that big of a deal. See, Soviet Goat says Connecticut winters never use chapstick. Yeah, same. I don't think I ever bought chapstick. I think I have this like one had this like one chapstick thing that I got at a brewery. Like this brewery like made their own like chapstick like product, and like they just gave it away, and I just had it in my pocket for like 2 years in a row. And yeah, and I had it in my pocket, like my winter coat, which I don't think I put on a winter coat in the past 2 years. So it just never comes up. Did he do any OCD stuff when he shot scenes for Adult Swim? No, Mumbles, no. He was good. He did annoying things. Like, okay, so they had that shirt. I had them make 2 shirts because they you know, for wardrobe he had to have the name of his character. His character's name's Salty, and he's the owner of this fast food restaurant. So they had him print. I said, you know, what's his size? And I said, you know, I said to be you know, because they wanted it to be a little small on him. I said, you know, we go large or extra large. I said, and then I was thinking, I was like, hey, you know what? Actually, do both. Do one large and extra large, because I was like, I'm taking the large. I'm taking one of them. Even at the time, I was, you know, there's no fucking way I was fitting into that large. Maybe I can come closer to it now, but so he was getting changed, and he had a shirt on. You know, he had a t-shirt on, and then he's getting ready to do the scene and everything, and he comes out with his clothes, and he just threw the shirt. He put his shirt on for the character over the shirt he was already wearing, and the shirt he was already wearing was like a gray, like Blackhawk shirt or something like that. And I got annoyed. I was like, no, Perry. He's like, take this shirt off. I was like, I don't know if Garrett was there in the room at the time, but like we were about to shoot and everything, and I was like, Perry, don't put that shirt over your shirt that you're wearing. You're filming this. This is a part. You're not, you know, like he's just like, oh, he did it like he'd be doing it for the stream, you know, and I got annoyed, like, you know, and the people there were too nice, like, oh no, maybe that. I was like, no, that doesn't work. I was like, Perry, let's go. So we went back into the dressing room area, and I made him take off. I literally took his shirt off him. I said, Perry, I was like, this is a real shoot. I was like, you don't just throw your shirt on over whatever you're fucking wearing. So he took off both, and he's like, well, I don't want anyone to take my shirt. I don't want anybody to steal it. And that was his reasoning. I was like, Perry, this is a professional studio. They're not going to steal your shirt. There's hangers here. This is a dressing room area. You have hangers. You just you put the shirt on a hanger. He's like, nobody better touch my fucking shirt. So like, I was like, can you concentrate on the fact that you're shooting a major thing, you know, for like first time ever, really? So, oh, you have some of that, Garrett? That's cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we gotta go through that footage because it was ridiculous to me. And then he finally put the shirt on a hanger, and then put the other shirt on, and then I immediately took the second shirt and I put it aside. I was like, I'm taking that. So I actually have. There's only 2 shirts made for that entire thing, and I have the second shirt. It was so crazy that he came out, and then yeah, so he didn't have any OCD things, but he just did. I've said this before, like he did things like he yelled cut a lot of times, like during like he does in Windy City Heat. He'd be in the middle of a scene, he'd be doing it, and he'd be like cut, let's do that again and it was just people were kind of chuckling a little bit, but you don't do that on any kind of set. I don't care what level you're at, you don't do that. There's a clear designation of roles on the set. There's camera people, there's producer, there's the director, and we're doing that. And then he started crying a lot. It's like anytime there was this producer woman there who was really nice. Her name was Rachel. Garrett will attest to this. He whenever he had a couple of long monologues for the character, and he pretty much nailed that script. He really did a good job at memorizing. But there were some points where he messed up, so they broke up certain things, and then sometimes he did it all the way through, and sometimes he didn't. Anyway, whenever he did a really good job, like sometimes he'd do a job, and then Zach, who's the guy who created the show, and the guy we were staying together, and he was nice enough to kind of let me, almost co-direct a little bit, which not co-direct, but like leaned on me for like, is that, can Perry give a better performance, basically? And I'd be like, yeah, you can do better. And then he would do a different one there. And whenever Perry nailed it and did a great performance, like the producer would be like, perfect, let's do another one. Perfect, now let's do another one. Now, as soon as Perry heard perfect from like a female producer type, he started the waterworks, and he'd be like, I'm just so honored. I'm just so honored to be here. I'm just so honored. God, this is an honor. This is an honor. Thank you. And I just put my head in my hands, and I'm like, oh my God. This would be like the third time in a row he was pulling this. And like, he wouldn't get into this. It's an honor at first. He'd just start crying. He'd just start, you've all seen it on the stream. He'd do that thing where he like, I need a moment. He puts the hand up. He's like, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. And it's like every time he was setting, and it was a really hot day too. It was like blazing hot. There wasn't any air conditioning in there, and everybody just kind of wanted to get this done. And every time he pulled that, it just was like, I could see the camera people. They were just like, oh my God. So. And then there was a time I felt bad about it. I kind of snapped at him, like, in a way. I was like, Perry, cry later. Enough. Let's get through this. And then, like, the producer was being, I said, no, it's okay. He has feelings. I said, no. He can have feelings later. He's on our time now. Let's get this done. And then I caught myself. I was like, okay, I'm being a little too assertive here. But he got through it. But he did a good job. I can't think of anything else, OCD-ish or quirky that he did. Those are the things. He did good. He had a stunt too. He had a stunt where he has to drop down a little bit, and boy, he went for it. He really went for it. He has a scene in this show that people are gonna go apeshit for. It's so crazy, and the fact that it's Perry as his character, it's fucking fantastic. It's great. But yeah, there's none of that. He was a celebrity there. Like I said, everybody there on the set were huge fans of the stream. They were huge PCL fans. Like, a lot of people were like talking about the time that Perry was eating at King of Crabs and got the McDonald's delivery, or like what their favorite moments of the stream was. So he was enjoying that, and like there were people there that were and there was a guy there from like Netflix. Like, no, he wasn't from Netflix, but he has a show coming out on Netflix, and he was a big deal, and he was talking about the streams. So, but yeah, he was good, and so. And it was a long day too. It was like we got there at 11 maybe, or I forget what the call time was. It was either 10 or 11, and we didn't get out until 4. But hey, Garrett. So Garrett sent me. Garrett sent me this clip. I'm not really supposed to show any clips, like because of the agreement with Adult Swim. So this isn't gonna go anywhere else but right here. In fact, I'll probably even cut this from Patreon. But this is just for the live. I don't know. I'll think about it. But Garrett said he had some clip of the shirt thing. I don't think he has the dressing room thing because I think it was just me and Perry there. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. This is from the shoot. Let's see here. Bear with me one sec. I guess gotta change this up. There it is. Yeah, this is just a little taste of what I was talking about. I might have to resize it. There we go. My fault. I should have came back with you. Now you gotta make this guy take the fucking thing off.
That's all right.
Yeah.
As long as once he starts to switch shirts, then we'll pull it down.
Yeah, he had a shirt on under. That's the shirt he should be wearing, and then he had a shirt underneath.
Wearing a shirt for a shoot.
Because this is a large.
In your right mind, do you think that you should be wearing the shirt you're wearing underneath it? I mean, what's the matter with you?
Excuse me.
No, not excuse me, Perry. You're doing a shoot for a TV show. They want to see the shirt underneath it. Here, this is what.
Anyway, I could probably leave that. That's fine. That's just a little. That was just a little tease, and then we went back to the to the room. But that was him. Yeah, and that's just Perry. But he was good. Garrett was there. Robert was there. He was in the chat. And he was golden that day. I was a little nervous about it, but he had the script for a good long while, and really took it to heart. Especially on his days off from the stream, he would just sit at his kitchen table, read the script, and then we'd do a run through together. I'd be on the phone, doing some of the other characters, and he was pretty much on point. He had it down. Got it right. Yeah, it was. Robert said it was hot as hell, and he was wearing not only that, he had to wear the leather jacket too, because the character wears the leather jacket. No, I'm not 6'10". I'm nowhere near it. I'm like 5'11" on my best day. I don't know. Yeah, that video seemed a little morphed with height wise. No, I'm not that tall. But it was a good culmination of things, because I've said this before, he got that role based off PCL exclusively. It was PCL that got him that role. It was the show is called Smiling Friends. It's airing this fall. I don't have an air date yet for his episode, but the people that make it are big on YouTube, and they really got different. Every episode has somebody different, like a little celebrity, and a lot of them are online media celebrities, like YouTube, like Mike from Red Letter Media is in an episode. I can't pronounce his last name, but you know who I'm talking about. And they have a lot of people, and Perry was one of their big gets. Perry was one of the first people they asked for. So and this was back, in like mid to late January, and the show. The stream started in like November, so they were in pretty early. And they still watch the stream. So I said this again, I not to repeat myself, but when I sometimes say to people, "Hey, Adult Swim is watching," I'm not lying. Like, they are. Stucklasa. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Mike Stucklasa. But yeah. Yeah, they are funny people making the show, and it's going to be good. It's going to be and it's the first real part that Perry is really, honestly, when you break it down, it's the first real part he's ever had. You can't count Windy City Heat because that was, its own thing. You can't count any of his extra work. This was different. So it'll be nice. And it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun show. And they agreed. Adult Swim did. That when it comes out, they'll push Perry's social media. They'll push the streams a little bit. It didn't pay a lot. It wasn't a huge payday for him, but it's so I said in lieu of that, I said, we get a big push, and they said absolutely. I actually went as far as to say, hey, can you put PCL in the credits? Thanks to Perry, and they're like, we don't think we can do that because that requires talking to a different department and da 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 da. But once it comes out, so like I've said many times, I said our people, meaning you guys, meaning Team PCL, will definitely retweet Adult Swim and Smiling Friends and all that when the episode comes. I said, in turn, if you could also retweet us or just push us a little bit. So I think it'll be a big deal when it comes out. A lot of new people jumping on board. Like Perry said it earlier today, and he's right. Like he was telling me about some email he got. Was it yesterday or late in that? I guess yesterday. It's hard for me to remember because of the henchman stuff. But yeah, you got some long email from a guy in the Netherlands. No, it wasn't an email. It must have been like an Instagram message or something like that. In the Netherlands, who found the stream like just 2 weeks ago, and is now like diehard. Like loves it. Can't always watch it live because but he signed up for the Patreon, and he watches the streams on there, and that's really cool. So I think you're gonna get a lot more of that in the fall when this show comes out. So it'll be interesting to see. Daythinker AJ, I must have had the Pluto TV app and didn't even know it, but I looked at it recently and it has a lot of decent shows. Thank you for mentioning it. Yeah, I Pluto TV, it's fantastic. Second to YouTube is the thing I watch the most. Not just for the Price is Right channel, which is what I watch 90% of the time on there, but I'll watch they have a Star Trek channel. It's pretty much always Next Generation. But I haven't seen those in so long that I'll occasionally start watching just a little bit of one. There's a Three's Company channel, and you can't find Three's Company anywhere. Three's Company's not on I don't think it's on Netflix or Hulu or anything. I don't think, but it's Three's Company channel. There's a great old action channel, and they got shows like Hunter, which I haven't seen in years. And they'll just be old stuff, and then there's a Carson channel. I'll watch that. I'll zone out to that. So it's great. Anybody who's looking for free TV, if you're a cord cutter, definitely add Pluto TV to your arsenal. He wasn't in that. He wasn't a commercial for Alvarado Hospital. Yeah, I guess that counts. I've never seen The Bank Job. I can't count that. I've never even really seen the clip. I think I've seen still images of the clip, but I've never really seen it. Oh yeah, the Pluto Cops channel is great too, as Joey says. Yeah, and they do have some decent music video channels. It's great. If you can just put up with the commercials, because I think everybody's accustomed to not watching commercials. Between Netflix and whatever else. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see any ads on YouTube. The only time I see ads is if I'm watching baseball or something, and that's few and far between lately. So that's the only thing. Just mute it or whatever and deal with it, but it's free. And I'll tell you what, if there was a premium version of Pluto, I'd pay for it. That's how good it is. If there was a premium version that cut down or eliminated the ads, I'd pay for it. Garrett Garrett says he's been in a bar rescue binge. Yeah, I can't say I was ever into bar rescue, but I did watch them while. I can't stomach bar rescue now. I just can't take them. I tried watching the new season. The new season is just in Las Vegas, and of course it's probably just for like production reasons and cost cutting, and also the fact that COVID and everything, they don't want to travel, but they lie to the audience with it. It's like where John Taffer's like the guy where he lives in Las Vegas, so of course it's easy for him. But the way he sets up the season, he's like, I'm taking this personally. Vegas is my home, and it's been hit hard, so we're spending all season in just Vegas because I'm taking on this COVID, and we're gonna knock it out. And it's like, and he acts like when that every episode has that same shot of when he's walking out of the bar, like all satisfied, like he just saved this whole bar. But of course, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but a good majority of them just completely fall under. And I think that a lot of it's bullshit because a lot of it's sponsored things. It's like, it's like, we got you the mixologist 5000, which will make any drink you want if you just, it's like everything's sponsored. It's like, in fact, the end. And by the way, the worst voiceover guy in the business does bar rescue. I hate the narrator for bar rescue. The worst guy in the business. He's so annoying to listen to, and then when you go through the promotional ads at the end or the credits, like, promotional consideration paid for by blah blah blah. It's like a fucking Dead Sea Scrolls of all these things that come on. And I don't know. It's just every episode's the same. The only ones that are any good are the ones where he really gets into it with like an absolute dirtbag like owner. But yeah, I don't know. Every show like that is trying to be Gordon Ramsay. It's trying to be Kitchen Nightmares, which is the template for that kind of format. Where Gordon Ramsay would go into a restaurant, get into it with the dipshit owner or manager, and then then they started doing it with bars, and there's other copycats. For what it is, it's fine, but it's just like I've just reached my limit with it. But every now and then, I will watch it. Of course. By the way, Hannah says she loves Hunter. Of course, you love Hunter. You love everything else like that. Yeah, Monk and Hunter. I haven't seen Matlock on there yet, but I would love to catch him. Yeah. Hunter, when he had his original partner, I forget what her name was, McCall in the show, but I forget the actress's name. When he got the new partner, who was like the blonde chick, the show was over. TomB, I'm still looking at that video, and I look 6 times. All right, let's take a look at it again. Yeah, it did look morphed to me. I look enormous in it. What happened to live streaming on YouTube? Well, you've been you've been out of it for a while. What happened to live streaming on YouTube is we're applying for Twitch partnership. Twitch asked us to be Twitch exclusive to build our numbers up on Twitch while we're still in the process of being. And this week might be the last week for it because that's like we've been under review for some time now. And if you're a Twitch partner, you have to you can have your archives on YouTube, but live streaming has to be Twitch exclusive. So that's why streaming on YouTube is no longer a thing, but the archives will be there, and that'll be built up. Yeah, I see Joey answer that question. I don't remember the last time we I think it was June when we last streamed on YouTube. Yeah, I agree with Mumbles too. The UK Kitchen Nightmares is where it is. It's not even the UK edits of the US version is better. The US version adds in all that shit music and like that hype music that all these type of reality shows add in. The UK version and also the UK version has all the swearing unbleeped, which is great. That's what you want. So a lot of it's on YouTube. We're wearing Twitch's class ring right now. You're not too far off from the truth on that. But yeah, so it's a big process to get on the partnership, and all our ducks are in a row. I think we click all the boxes, and I just I don't know what else, like how many more hoops I can jump. It's like Twitch makes us offers like on the stream. Like we'll give you partnership if you eat 5 bags of popcorn or something like that. I'm like, okay, I just finished the popcorn. It's like, okay, now we'll give you partnership if you run outside in your underwear and circle your block 5 times. Okay, I just came back. I just did it. Do we have partnership yet? No, not yet. Go out on your ring cam and whatever. It's just never ending. That's what it's been feeling like. But Twitch is where you want to be for streaming. Ask anybody. That's what most people do now. Is live streaming is on Twitch, and then the old, once you have the archive, they go housed on YouTube. Because Twitch is also not an archive medium. Like their videos expire within 2 weeks. So even if like you have a stream that stays up, it expires pretty quickly. It's not meant to stay up in perpetuity. Even if you're a partner, they don't give you that. So that's where you're at. And also Twitch and I've said this before, Twitch pushes this channel in their algorithm where it's like a random, like that's why we get so many random new people come in to find this channel. There's no, in fact, I would love to know this for sure, but I don't think there's any person that watched a live stream on YouTube and discovered Perry for the first time. I think anybody who was watching on YouTube was watching out of the convenience of YouTube because they were already a fan. Because YouTube doesn't push it in the algorithm. If you're just a regular person, clicking through YouTube, you're not going to see Perry Caravello Live pop up as a live stream. Maybe to some degree, some of the archives do. If they get enough likes and stuff like that. That's the nature of it. But with Twitch, you're always, you could pop up on anybody at any time watching Twitch, and that's how you get so many new people coming in. What is this? That's why all the new people that come into the chat. What is this? What did I just stumble into? And that's the beauty of Twitch. And that's when people say, oh, you should go to this other platform, this Odyssey. You could say whatever you want. There's no censorship. Yeah, okay, fine. But you're not getting any new eyes on you. If you're a stream that gets, like 1,000 views per stream, that's all you're ever going to get. You're not getting new people discovering you if you're on a platform like that. You're just not. And that's why Twitch is a big deal. And also there's benefits to being a partner and having the subscribers and all that other stuff. And YouTube has tried to do a system like that, but it's nowhere near the infrastructure that Twitch has in place. They've tried to do, because they're in heavy competition with Twitch, obviously, and they've tried to do that. And it doesn't work. Like, they have memberships and stuff like that, but it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same. But there's things that YouTube gets right that Twitch doesn't, and vice versa. Twitch is a little more hardcore on content and things like that YouTube will let you slide on, but then at the same time, they have this really weird thing with cursing, and like content, and and it's like the censorship where they won't give you advertising. You can't get properly monetized unless you heavily bleep your stuff, you know. And I like in the fall, I'm going to do more with the YouTube channel. I'm going to put like clips up and stuff like that. And I think the clips will be bleeped and the actual streams will be uncensored, you know, just to get more eyes on it. But that's a flaw of YouTube. Like they should really have something set in place where certain advertisers will be fine advertising with, you know, content that might have offensive words or something like that. They have gotten better on copyright stuff where now if you have a copyright, because I remember I lost my channel way back in the day because I was a little bit of a YouTuber where I had my own channel and I would do like reviews and stuff like that, and I had other stuff on my channel that was like, you know, technically copyright material, like clips from movies or stuff like that, and they would copyright strike you, and if you got 3 of them, you lost your channel, and I got 3 of them pretty quickly because I got struck twice on the same fucking video that was just posted twice by accident, and there was no appeal. It was just gone, and all of my stuff was gone, and I was so pissed about it. But now they're smart enough to have a system where you don't necessarily get a copyright strike. You get a notice that there's copyright material, and you just can't be monetized. And any monetization that video would have made goes to the rights holder. So if you have like a song or music on there, it'll go to whoever owns the rights, and then you can dispute certain things. But that's a much better system than they used to have. But I don't get why YouTube doesn't have an advertising thing for like more adult content. Like, okay, you're not going to get McDonald's, but you can get, you know, the fucking Man Groomer or a goddamn NordVPN, which advertises on every goddamn shit podcast known to mankind. You know, stuff like that. You know, are they going to mind if you hear the F word a couple times or, you know, this or that? I just think it's ridiculous. So, yeah, they have to work on that. But again, there's things that Twitch doesn't do right that YouTube does, and vice versa. But one is definitely a live streaming medium, and one is definitely an archive medium. And YouTube just does not cut it for live streaming. And I know it's super convenient for people because I love YouTube. It's convenient for me, but it's just outside of being a convenient forum to watch streams for the end user, it's not realistic. Plus, also the stress on the software, where you're basically transcoding 3 different things at the same time. You know, you're transcoding the live stream, and by transcoding I mean like rendering the video out for a live stream in HD. You're doing that for the live version for Twitch and YouTube. That's 2, and then you're also recording the archive. That's 3. That's a lot, even if on a fairly robust system. So one thing I've noticed since not streaming on YouTube is I don't have any of the tech issues that I used to have. Now having a very good video card also mitigates that some. But anyway, the bottom line is, if you're a partner on Twitch, it's a no-go. You have to do Twitch exclusively. Garrett says YouTube is doing TikTok shit now. And see, and that's the weird thing about YouTube. Like they're trying to put their hands in too many pots, where it's like, do what you do well, you know, fix your own infrastructure, and then you know, don't worry about what TikTok. Don't be TikTok. TikTok is for TikTok. You know, no one's going for YouTube or TikTok videos. And the same thing with, you know, with the live streaming. They just don't have it. They just, because Twitch is like channels. Like you can surf, like channel surf on Twitch. You can't do that on YouTube. It's not the same thing. And I've had people say like, oh well, but Twitch offers this, and you have subscribers. A subscriber on YouTube versus subscriber on Twitch is 2 different things. 2 different things, and it's a business in a way. You know, it's like people that just stream. Like that's why DSP, talking about DSP, that's why he's so pissed off that he lost his partnership on Twitch, and now he's streaming on YouTube. It's nowhere near the same. Nowhere near the same. You don't get the same incentives on YouTube that you get. You might get more views. If you have a built-in audience, but you're not getting new people that come in. But anyway, that's my YouTube's Twitch rant for the day. I fucking love that I said I wasn't doing an after hours, and now it's like an hour and change later, and I'm ranting about Twitch and YouTube. Fucking idiot I am. But yeah, I've just noticed lately, and maybe because the summer is winding down, we're getting a lot of new eyes. We're getting a lot of new people, and I've noticed it. Like people that message me, and they say, "Just found the channel recently, never knew Perry or anything like that," and then here they are. I was catching up on a couple of things. Oh yeah, I heard that. Baru Bian, crazy fact: Fred Dryer, who played Hunter, was originally supposed to be cast as Sam Malone in Cheers. Yeah, and I forget who he was paired with. There was a Diane that was like he was paired with, and it was really him and this Diane and Ted Danson and Shelley Long who were like they were like neck and neck. And you look at Cheers now, it's like how could you have anybody else but Ted Danson in that role? But yeah, and I think Ted Danson was in Cheers in a couple episodes as like a sports reporter or something like that. Ex-athlete, whatever. But yeah, I couldn't picture it. Yeah, because he's very wooden, and he was great as Hunter, but he's no Sam Malone. No Sam Malone. I always find it fascinating on like who was originally supposed to get cast and XYZ, whether it's a movie or a TV show, and you try to picture that person in the role, and sometimes you can picture it and say, "Oh my God, that would have been so much better," but most of the time you're like, "No, they got it right." Like we were talking about Monk a couple of weeks ago, and somebody, I think Mumble said that Michael Richards was originally going to be Monk, and he turned it down. And I can't picture anybody but Tony Shalhoub in that role. I can't picture Michael Richards in that at all. Thank God he turned it down. I don't think the show would have gotten past the first season. No, see, case in point, Happy Time Harry says, I found Perry on Twitch months ago on a recommended channel list. Never knew of him before. And that's the thing you get on Twitch. You get on recommended channel lists that YouTube doesn't do that. Sorry, YouTube doesn't do that. That's why Twitch is great, and Twitch isn't perfect. There's a lot of things I don't love about Twitch, but that's what they're great for. And the algorithm isn't always right. They will recommend some crap for you on Twitch that you probably don't want to check out, but but sometimes they get it right. DSP used to make bank on gifted subs. Can't get those on YouTube. No, and YouTube tries to have stuff like that. Like what do they call it? Like it's weird. Like channel members or something like that. Like where you get little perks or something. But it's garbage. It's just like they're trying desperately to do what Twitch does, and it doesn't work that way. Like they don't know how to make it work. What the things that make Twitch work, as from a business standpoint, that YouTube tries to implement, it's ridiculous. It's laughable. Yeah, bummer about Charlie Watts. Fuck. I saw that today. A friend of mine sent me the text about Charlie Watts passing away, and like the Rolling Stones, and it was like, goddamn, we should have fucking saw him when we had the chance, because we could have saw them like, was it 2 years ago or so? But we cheaped out, and not that we didn't cheap out. The tickets were crazy expensive, and it just wasn't feasible for us. And of course now I regret it greatly. They are touring this fall, and I will see them. Am I going to see the new Candyman? Yes, I will probably see it. I really like the first Candyman. I think the first Candyman is obscenely underrated. It's very underrated. It's very good. I saw it in the theater when it came out. I don't know if I'll see it in the theater. There's a couple movies coming out that I will definitely see in the theater. I'll see the new Halloween, even though it wasn't huge on the previous Halloween. But I'll see the new Halloween. Obviously, the new James Bond. I wasn't interested in the Sopranos movie, the Many Saints of Newark, but now I am. Actually, going back to YouTube, I watched this. It's very interesting if you're a Sopranos person. Rolling Stone did like a 45-minute interview with David Chase in this bar. You know, it was empty. It was just them. But he talks a lot about the Sopranos and the movie, and I had kind of been out of Sopranos for a while. But this interview got me into it. Now I'm very excited for the movie, and I think that comes out in early October. So I'm going to see that. Obviously, what else is coming out? Top Gun in November. I'm all about that. Can't see it opening night because it's a stream night, but I'll see it that Saturday. I don't know what else. Venom 2 I don't really care about because I didn't like the first one. I'll tell you what, I didn't care about Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movie, because like I said, I'm kind of out of Marvel. But I saw that trailer. The trailer does look good, so I will see that. I'll definitely see that. Oh yeah, I'll see Dune. Yeah, definitely see that. I just haven't been to the movies in so long. I went to see Star Trek 4 last Thursday, and that was the first time I was in there since December. When is Matrix 4 coming out? Is that coming out this fall? Yeah, I gotta say this. If you haven't seen the trailer for Spider-Man is good, I'm like, I just don't want to get sucked into watching Marvel movies again because Marvel makes you see, you see one like, oh, now I gotta stay to the credits and you see a tag for the next one. I swear to God, I'm not getting sucked into watching every Marvel movie. I'm just not. I'm gonna pick and choose. That's the way I'm gonna approach it. If it looks like a good movie, I'll see it. You just finished The Sopranos? Yeah, the ending is weird. I posted that video. There's a guy that has a really good theory about the ending of The Sopranos. I don't like the ending. I've always hated the ending. I thought it was trash. It's a great show, but trash ending. Really, the viewers and the characters deserve better. Oh, and this Shang-Chi. I'm looking at like coming soon movies. I don't know anything about it. I could not possibly care less about it. Candyman we talked about. I'll see that. Let's see. A lot of these I don't even know. I'm just skipping past this. Well, they're doing in September 14th. They're doing something called Forever Golden. Forever Golden, a celebration of the Golden Girls. I guess they're running like 4 episodes of the Golden Girls in theaters. God, they must be really reaching for programming. That's a pass for me. Transformers the movie 35th anniversary. I almost want to see that, even though I'm not that big into Transformers, or I never was. I never saw it in the theater. But that seems like a cool movie to see in the theater. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to look for new movies. Silence of the Lambs 30th anniversary. That might be interesting. Damn, there's less movies than I thought. This fucking list is endless. Yeah, Bond. Top Gun. Yeah, there's no other like heavy hitters that I could think of. The plot, I don't know. I don't know about the plot for the Spider-Man movie being dumb or not. I mean, maybe. I like that whole open world, like alternate universe type stuff. I'm always a sucker for like, even like sci-fi shows or movies that have like alternate realities and stuff like that. I'm kind of a sucker for that. So, yeah, Mumble says, you had a dream about this Spider movie coexisting in the universe with the first two. several years several years away from the plot being real. That's pretty good. You had a good premonition. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. You know, like, do you have cameos in there? Is like Robert Downey Jr. going to be in there as Iron Man for a little bit? Like, that would be kind of cool. I don't know. So that'll get me in to see a Marvel movie. But as far as that goes, I am definitely checked out of Marvel. I'm not watching. Has anybody seen Loki? Like, I have no interest in watching that whatsoever. No interest in watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. I've heard enough about that to keep me away from that. No interest in the next Thor. Just don't care. You know, Garrett says they should show sports in theaters. One of the cool things they had, there was this theater in New York City. It's closed now, unfortunately. It was the last single screen movie theater in New York City. If you can believe it, there's no single screen movie theaters left in New York City. In a city that was once, there was one on every block. There is now none. Zero. None. LA has a ton. Other cities have like one or two. New York has zero. But for a long time, there was this great theater called the Ziegfeld Theater on 54th Street. And what they used to do on like during the week is because I think the theater was owned by the same company that owned this cable, like Optimum. So the same subsidiary, whatever, the same guy that owned Optimum, you know, which is kind of like, you know, Spectrum or Charter or whatever. They would show baseball games during the week, so you can go see like the Mets Braves game in the theater, like, and it was cheap. It was like $5, and all the concessions were cheaper too. And I went one time, and it was pretty cool. It was like this giant screen, and you can watch an away game. It was always away games too. It was never like when they were home you couldn't see it for whatever reason. But they did that for a couple of years. It was great. Yeah, I agree. They should do that. They should show TV shows in movie theaters. They've done that a couple of times, but like show a marathon of something, like, or a season premiere of something, you know, like a big show. I don't know if they do, you know, make it more communal, especially now, but they should. I always look, theaters are definitely hurting now. I mean, it's more than ever, and I really believe that studios should just be offering their back catalog to theaters for free. Like, literally, if your movie is over like 2-3 years old, just offer it to Regal, AMC, whoever, and be like, hey, you know what, you can show this as many times as you want. You take 100% of the profits. And because now it's like theaters, they're still getting their shitty like theaters don't get a huge take of movies themselves. They get like 5% or less of the share. They make their money on concessions, and you know, so I think it would be a nice thing for studios to do, to kind of, and studios have screwed theaters over left and right this past year with, you know, streaming on the same day it's supposed to open in the theater. You know, like Disney, notorious for that. You know, Warner Brothers. There's very few theater exclusives. It's like the least you can do is be like, hey, you know what? Here's a giant catalog. Go through it. Pick out whatever movie you want. We'll send it to you. If you want a print, okay, a print's going to cost you more money. You're going to have to pay for that. Other than that, though, any digital print, any digital thing you want, you can have it. Run it for as long as you want. You want to, you want to run it 5 times a day. You want to run it for a month straight. You make some money, bring people back to theaters, and just have that in place for like a year or so. Like, what is it going to cost them? It's not going to cost them anything. These are movies that they already made their money on, and they're all on Netflix or some kind of on-demand service. So if people want to watch them at home, they can. But you know what? If they showed, like, I don't know, like whatever, if they, like, the Indiana Jones trilogy or something like that would get my ass into a theater. Even if you showed the original Star Wars trilogy, anything. It doesn't even have to be that big. It can be like smaller movies. Movies that you grew up with, that you watched on video that you never saw in the theater. Do like a Schwarzenegger marathon. I would see Commando in the theater, The Running Man. Not even like the big ones like Terminator 2. Obviously, I'd see those, but just just do that, because that would maybe get some people into theaters. Do something. I just don't think the studios and the theaters are not it's not the theaters' fault, but the studios are not helping out the theaters at all. And yeah, like Rick says that the ArcLight in LA went out. Yeah, and that was an amazing theater. I mean, that'll be saved by somebody, but that's a bummer. It just sucks. Paul Mars says the theaters always screwed the studios and wouldn't put movies on a certain amount of screens. Yeah, I don't see that way though. I think the theaters made too many the studios made too many demands. Like Disney is the fucking worst with that. Like they still to this day, even with the fact that they have their movies available on Disney Plus the same day they come out in the theater, they have this unreasonable thing where their big movies has to come out on your biggest screen, like IMAX or Dolby Vision or whatever, RPX, whatever your big format is, and it has to stay there for 6 weeks, and that's ridiculous. Like even like let's say Star Wars, like let's not even go with the two shit ones. Let's even say Force Awakens, as big of a deal as that was, or even the Avengers, like Endgame or something like that. Yeah, everyone's going to see that the first week, 2, 3. You get to that 4th week, though, it's going to get really lean. And that 5th week, that 6th week is deadly. And you just have this huge screen that you can't... And then there's other movies that come out that you could put on that big screen. But no, they have these strict rules that, we won't give you this movie unless you agree to these terms. I think that's bullshit. Disney's the worst at that, but other studios all have similar things where it's like, you have to have this movie on your biggest screen. That's why Tarantino was furious, because when he put out what was it, the Hateful Eight, that came out at the same time as Star Wars Force Awakens, and Disney had Force Awakens on every huge screen in every multiplex around the country, because they have these contracts and these rules that they have to do it. And then he wanted his movie on big screens, even like the ArcLight. He couldn't even have it in the fucking ArcLight because Disney had their rules based. Now, foolish of him to come up against Star Wars. He should have released that at a different time, like put that out in March or even November or something like that. It was bad timing, but and then he had a 70 millimeter roadshow that was really had to be showed in like smaller theaters. I remember there was one theater in New York that had it, and it was on a noticeably smaller screen than their biggest screen, because that was all showing Star Wars. It was ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the thing about like Endgame. Like Soviet goes to its 12-screen theater, and Endgame was on 9 of them. Right, the first week, Endgame, that's all everybody saw. By the 2nd week, though, everybody had seen it, and it dropped off. And then what are you doing with all those screens? I mean, come on. Yeah, I'd love to see the thing in the theater, too. I don't remember it coming up. And what year did it come out? Is it hitting a milestone anniversary anytime soon? Because that would be the time. That would be the time to do it. But there's just not. Even as I was looking through the movie app, I see like they have some older movies coming out, but it's just not enough. And I don't even know if that would get a lot of people, because a lot of people just don't have that same zest for the theatrical experience. I love going to the movies. I love going to a movie theater. I love seeing. I love just being absorbed in a big screen, with the sound and everything like that. My phone's away, my phone's turned off, and I can just kind of check out for the time that I'm in there, and to be able to see like a movie that you love in that setting with a semi-crowded theater is awesome. But maybe we're in the minority for that. Maybe some people just would rather watch it at home on their shitty TV. I don't get it. Yeah, Pulp Fiction didn't get it because Pulp Fiction was Miramax at the time where it was still considered like almost an indie film, and then once that and Pulp Fiction was one of those movies where it played. It was one of the last movies I remember of that era. Titanic was another one, but that was a different scenario. That played forever, like in theaters. Like it played for it felt like it was out for 6 months, and you don't get that now. You get a movie's out, a movie's in and out in like 3 or 4 weeks. I remember Titanic almost playing for a year. Like that played for a long fucking time, and that was just a thing of the past. Because as a kid, I remember like really right before like home video became a thing. Like movies would just play forever, and then they get re-released in theaters. Star Wars got re-released. And I remember seeing commercials for it, like in 19, it'd be like, oh, the big hit Star Wars is back on the big screen for 2 weeks only. And it would come out in like in April for like 2 weeks, and you saw it, again, because it wasn't on video. And you couldn't get it anywhere. You couldn't, there's no way to see it except going to the theater. Then obviously they don't do that anymore. I'm with you, Mumbles, too. I'm not a big fan of the reclining seats either. I like the regular seats. I do. I like the regular seats. I don't mind the stadium seating as much because I don't mind being slightly elevated. But I hate those fucking recliners. I can't stand them. Oh, you said Titanic played for over a year where you live. Yeah, I remember. Shit, like I think Titanic came out December '97. And I swear to God, it was still playing December of '98 in like 1 or 2 theaters. But that's the last time. And then maybe Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I remember playing for a long time, but to the fall. Like that came out in May of '99, and I think that played until like October of '99, which is an obscenely long time by today's standards. But I'm hard pressed to think of a movie that lasted in theaters after that, like for a long time. I can't think of another movie that had that kind of staying power. Oh, I never saw that, The Specialist with Stallone. I forgot about that. That came up against that. Yeah, I never saw it. I think Stallone was on definitely he was on a downward spiral by then, but. Still, he was a name. He was still a name at that point. '94. What's D-Box, Mitch? I mean, I'm a fan as a big of a screen as you can possibly get. That's what I'm a fan of, and I'll put up with, whatever else. I hate. This is what I won't do. I hate any theater that serves food. I won't do Alamo Draft House. I won't do food. I won't do like the people that come in and like serve you food and people eating like fucking dinner during a movie, like burgers and shit. I don't want to smell your food. The only thing I want to smell in a theater is like popcorn. And I can put up with, smelling chocolate or whatever. I'm not a chocolate guy. I fucking hate peanut butter. I hate when people eat peanut butter, but whatever, I'll deal with that. D-Box where the seats move around with the way. No, that's garbage. That's gimmick shit. Like Regal does that with something where it's like, no, that's gimmicky nonsense. I detest that actually. Where the seats are programmed to move with the movie. No, I don't want to move with the movie. I want to sit back and see the movie. I hate 3D too. I won't do 3D. I hate, and I think 3D is on. It's definitely is just about gone. Very few people like favor 3D, but no, I don't like gimmicks. I just want to sit. I want to sit in as good of a theater. I want a good picture. I mean, preferably film, but that's pretty much gone now. I want a nice projected image. I want the sound to be perfect. I want it to be loud. and I want a comfortable seat, but I don't want it to move. No. The one thing that you don't really get in theaters that you do get in like a nice home theater situation, or like if you have like a decent setup, is bass, like subwoofer bass, where you can really feel it in your chest. Like an explosion goes off and you feel it in your chest. I don't get that from most theaters. Like it's there, you could feel it, but it's not cranked up the way you can crank it up at home. Like if you have, and I don't have a subwoofer or anything like that. I'd like to get one again. But I feel like that's the one thing lacking in a big theater. It's like and I think the subwoofer is located probably behind the screen. I would love them to crank the shit out of that. Not to get it too bassy, but I want to feel it when there's an explosion. I want to feel it, and I don't get that out of theaters. I have seen a Cinerama screen once, a long time ago, and that was very interesting. That was really an experience. I don't think they exist anymore. I don't think so. There's a theater near me. It's closed, like where I moved to, and I looked at it, and you know how you can like pass by a place and you can say like, oh, that used to be a movie theater, because you can just look at a place, and it could be like a clothing store, it could be anything, it could be a restaurant, but you look at it like, that used to be a movie theater. I'm fascinated with old movie theaters, and there's a great site that has an archive of like old theaters. And I looked up the address, and sure enough, it was a movie theater. Not only was it a movie theater, it was one of the Jerry Lewis chain movie theaters. Jerry Lewis had a chain of movie theaters in like the 60s and very early 70s. It was a colossal failure, but like he branded like Jerry Lewis branded movie theater chains, and they were like often twins, like so like two screens. And I looked at all of them. They were all very cookie cutter, and this place looks exactly like that. And then I think it had changed hands. It was like a Cineplex Odeon or something like that. But I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to have gotten in there and seen a movie there. Obviously, way before my time, but I just thought that was really interesting that Jerry Lewis was in the movie theater chain business for a period of time. It's very disastrous too. There's some good mini documentaries on YouTube about it. Like I did a deep dive on it once about Jerry Lewis and getting into movie theaters. Wow. According to Wikipedia, the longest movie by length is a Bangladesh film that runs 21 hours. There's no way. Like how many how many fucking intermissions does that have? That's crazy. Hey, good night, Rick. By the way, congratulations on our latest VIP, Rick. That's always the sign where I have to go, is when the West Coast people start signing off and I'm on the East Coast. Congratulations, Rick. Well deserved. I said it to Rick privately in a message, but I said, yeah, you earned your VIP with blood, because he literally did. I didn't want to tell Perry that Rick is the guy that he beat up, but yeah, Rick's done a lot. Like Rick's given him a lot of nice deliveries too and stuff like that. So definitely well deserved. So that's cool. I know a lot of people are jealous of that founder first thing too. I think, what is it? Is it the first 30 or first 50 subscribers to the channel? I forget what it is, but to get that first thing. I remember when John Diaper was over my apartment, he was railing that all his, you know, like how everybody he really wanted the first, and how it drove him crazy that like guys like Bill Axt had the first and he didn't. I'd like to see The Day the Clown Cried in a Jerry Lewis theater. Can you imagine? It would be awesome if they kept, you know how they have that one Blockbuster in like Oregon or something like that. Like it would be awesome if like there was like one last remaining Jerry Lewis theater that was still running, and then they somehow got the rights to show The Day the Clown Cried. Everybody would, I don't care where it was, if it was in Nebraska, everybody would flock there and see it. It would be a huge deal. Or just like bring it back, like you know how they changed 7-Elevens into like the Quickie Mart, like when the Simpsons movie came out. Like take the ones that are still around now, like the ones like that are physically around that are probably like called something else, and like for that one, like for like 2 weeks, just rebrand it as the Jerry Lewis Theater. That doesn't count the experimental movie lengths. One is listed as 10 days. Yeah, we can't call that a movie. That's not a movie. Yeah, thank God. I wish I knew what subscribing was at the time. Yeah, it's a great icon, and it's crazy because it's like you can never get it. Like it's the people that have it, and like I don't have it. I mean, I have my own account. Like I'm never on it, but I have my own account, and I don't. But again, that would be weird if I had it. But yeah, it's a night. I see it. So few people have it. And when I see it in the like the chat, I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. That's somebody special, you know. Not to say that the subscriber crown doesn't, the you get the moderator's sword. They do it right. They do those little icons right. That's the other thing that comes with a partnership is you get more emotes and icons. I don't know if that appeals to. To me, that's not a big deal, but I know to a lot of people that's a big deal. And I think you also get with partnership, you get more money from the because right now, like Twitch takes an enormous cut of like the subscribe. So somebody subscribes for like $5, Twitch takes $2.50. So I think with partnership, you get a little bit more of that, and you get a little bit more from like advertising. I think every channel has the number ones. But this channel being like less than a year old, it's more prominent. There might be other channels that are more established, and it might be rarer to find the people with the number one. But since this channel is still in its infancy, technically. Even though it's weird to say that it's still in its infancy, it does feel like it feels like PCL's been around for 5 years, just with the sheer amount of streams that have gone on. It doesn't feel like it's been 9 months. It's going to be a year in November, which is insane. Oh, animated emotes. Yeah, that sounds right. I was looking at the things you get from it, and I just kind of glossed over it, and I saw some of those things. I was like, whatever. What Daythinger has an idea for the 24-hour stream. Let's hear it. I do want to do one at some point. I don't know when that's going to be. I do want to do one, and I think we're going to need sleep breaks. At some, realistically, I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe I think you're just going to at some point watch Perry napping for like 2 hours or like an hour or something. And I'll have to do shifts with maybe somebody else, like maybe Garrett takes over, or Scott, or Joey, or somebody, like, because I don't know if I can physically do 24 hours. I've stayed up for 24 hours, not recently, but I've done it. I've stayed up for longer than that. I've been up for 2 days straight, and not like a drug thing or anything. Just like traveling or something like that. I can do it. I just don't see. I just don't see Perry being able to pull off a full 24 hours. But I'd like to hear your idea. Oh, that's interesting. An incentive for viewers that are able to stay for the entire stream. Oh, that's a great, yeah. I can't imagine Perry doing a 24-hour stream. Might need to slip in some. Can you imagine Perry on Adderall? It's funny. I took Adderall. I never had Adderall ever, and there was a period in I guess it was March or something like that. There was a lot going on where I had a very very stressful work schedule, like non-PCL work, and I was really running on fumes. And then the streams would start at like, I don't know, 7 p.m. my time after I work all day, and I got a lot of other stuff, and I had like an hour or less of transition time from working a full day and then like trying to eat something and then getting Perry ready and switching over to, and then so anyway, so I was drinking Monster Energy drinks like he does for a while. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't feel like I need them anymore. Once in a while maybe, but I haven't needed them. but I had a friend give me some Adderall, and I took it. It didn't have that effect. It didn't have any effect on me. I really didn't like it. I much prefer Au Natural, for better or for worse. So I was never an Adderall guy, but I can't imagine Perry on Adderall. He's on so many other medications. I don't know how that would clash either, but it would be interesting. But yeah, there's ways we can think of. We'd have to have obviously incentives for Perry too. Like there's something he gets out of the longer he could stay up, because you can't have him crash for like more than 2 hours, if he crashes at all. Adderall is subscribed for ADD, but a lot of people use Adderall. Adderall's become a thing for content creators, people that do live streams, people that do shows, people that do things like, you'll see people that talk hyper, like if you go on YouTube and they like get really super hyper, like blah 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 blah. 9 out of 10 times they're just fucking on Adderall, for their energy level to get up. So it's just Tom, means you have ADHD. It's very possible. I take a lot of ADHD boxes, but not all of them. I think once in a while, like somebody like, oh, you have this, or you have I don't know, whatever these streams are. I'll look it up like, ooh, yeah, I have that. No, don't have that. Don't have that. Don't have that. I want a highlight video, Robert says, of you telling Perry you're going to call him, and him answering, having no idea who it is. Yeah, I think that happened once or twice on the stream where we do that. Where I like, all right, because I really do like having the earpiece in for a couple of reasons, but mainly so he hears my voice when I'm talking, because when we don't have it, he barely hears me. It's just he barely hears me. If we get into a danger zone, like somebody's like really laying it on thick with like 1992 stuff, or I'll be like, hey, calm down, not a bit, like, hey, like don't get too crazy on the, because that's, especially while we're in review, I don't want him to come off as like some lunatic, or the wrong kind of lunatic. But mainly it's just so we could hear each other, and I hear better when it's this, because I if I don't have it, I struggle to hear the stream as well, just by the nature of how everything's set up. But anyway, yeah, so like I'll have to call him sometimes, and you're like, hello? I'm like, hey, it's Tom. Oh, hey. Meanwhile, like, we've been talking on the stream for the entire thing. So, but it's less so on Wednesday. Like Wednesday, I'm trying to do Wednesday like with the media share thing, like old school PCL, where it's really just him reacting to comments, reacting to videos. And there's certain times where I need to chime in, but unlike mailbag and subscriber Sunday, I don't need to chime in as much. And I'm trying to make, if you're doing 3 days a week, I'm trying to make the 3 days different, and this being different from Friday, which is different from Sunday, and I'm going to try to keep with that into the fall, and make things a little more different, play around with the time starts and everything like that. And yeah, Mitch is right. All the Logan Paul types are all on Adderall. All those fucking douchebags are Adderall fiends. That's how they do it. They're content creators. They always need to be at their best. There's different kinds of Adderall though, and it affects you differently. Like there's a slow release Adderall, and there's a quick release Adderall. I think I took the quick release one. It just didn't do anything for me. But whatever. There might be days where I'm desperate for something, because there's times where the stream comes on, like, shit, how am I going to do this? Like, I don't know. And especially when he's like fuck, what was it? Was it Friday? Like last Friday, he was definitely zonking on energy, and I just felt like I have to work so much harder to kind of get him through it, and if I'm low energy myself, it takes a lot out of me. So maybe there's something to some kind of magical elixir, but I haven't found it. Halloween 24-hour stream, costume changes, trick or treat tip, scary media shares. He gets his truck at the end. Zebra horny and Sammy Hagar drive tip. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, I definitely want to do something for Halloween. I just haven't figured it out yet. I definitely want to do a Halloween theme thing though. Yeah. Balance of Wednesday is good, says Danko. It feels like old times, but with movies. Good. That's kind of what I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for like a, like early days PCL where it's just Perry, and I'm not chiming in as much. And it gives, and honestly, I have so much to do in the back because I gotta manage. I'm trying to get it tighter. The media share working. There's got to be a way to integrate it better because I got to manually play the media shares, and I basically have to look for all the names that come in and then find the corresponding media share and play that. And I find that if I play it right around the time where the tip comment starts, it might come on too early, but maybe halfway through the tip comment, it might be a little bump. And then sometimes I'll like not play it soon enough. And then it'll be a long time, like tonight, like for instance, like a comment played, and then it was supposed to be followed up by a tip comment, but it was taking long to buffer for whatever reason, and then he gets up to pee, and then the video plays, and he's off the screen, which drives me crazy. I want to murder him when he does that, but I know he can't help it. He's not doing it on purpose. Dango plans his week around PCL. Yeah, so do I. A lot of people do. It's weird. I get a lot of people say they plan their week around PCL. And a lot of them have very understanding wives or girlfriends or whatever, and I know you have that, so that's great. And obviously, and I know Perry appreciates it if he doesn't show it all the time, but I definitely do. I mean, that's amazing. When did you find? Remind me again, Sobiko. When did you find Perry? Because you said you haven't missed a live stream since you found Perry. Weenie, yeah, it's still live. We're winding down. We're winding down. Yeah, we're still live. By the way, it also helps too. Not that I'm doing this on purpose. I'm not. But since we're under review with Twitch for the partnership thing, when they look at the stats and they see 3 days a week and it's like over 7 hours a stream or 6 to 7 hours a stream. It is. It's pretty impressive. It's impressive lengths, especially like holding the audience. Like even right now, it's 3:00 in the morning. Close to 200 people watching a stupid car driving down the road. And again, like in the fall, I want to change when and if we do after hours. Like I'll get a camera and stuff like that, and we'll make it more interesting. Have calls, more participation, and stuff like that. I don't always want it. I don't want it to just be me rambling, doing this. Oh, wow, okay. So we found it randomly. Now, when you say March randomly on YouTube, do you mean you found it the live stream on YouTube, or like a an older stream posted to YouTube? I'd be very curious to hear that. The stream would be half as long if Perry could hold his pee. It would definitely cut down on a lot of things. The thing that kills me is when he does that. He's at least sorry about it. He's like, I gotta shit, sorry. I gotta shit, sorry. I think we're gonna get shit breaks more on Sundays because it's just daytime, and daytime he shits more. So I think you're gonna, have to deal with, how do we fill that time? I might have to like cut to. We were doing that for a while. Where we were just like cutting to videos, like cutting to pre-recorded stuff. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. But that drives me crazy. I also feel like the delay on this is longer for some reason than it used to be. I got to look into that. I feel like the delay between what happens live on the screen versus the chat's reaction to it has like doubled in the past couple of weeks for some reason. I haven't done anything. I'd have to look at those settings because I feel like it's on like almost a 30-second delay or something. Older stream, the Thanksgiving one. Oh, the Thanksgiving one was the first Twitch stream. That's great. That's wow. Good for you that you binged them all. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's great. I really think, you know, we're getting to the point now where I think the audience is 50-50. It's 50% old school fans that, you know, have known Perry for years through like Big Three or whatever, Windy City Heat. And then 50 of people that have discovered him in the past, you know, 9 months since we've been doing PCL. And eventually, it's just by the nature of things, that ratio is going to go up, and it's going to be, it's going to be the majority of new people, like quote unquote new people, who have only discovered Perry in like the streaming era. Your call on Sunday was very delayed. Yeah. I'm gonna look into settings and see what the deal is with that. Like I don't know why. It seems to me like it's delayed more than it was. Just because like Perry, like, you know, obviously I'm seeing it live, you know, or as live as it can be, and then from what I see on screen, and then I'll see like the chat reacting to it or whatever like that. It just seems a little more delayed than it used to be, more pronounced. You know, it's funny. That Thanksgiving stream seems so long ago. It seems so long ago. But yeah, there was a lot. I forgot that he with the gobble gobble thing, whatever. And he was kind of a stream veteran at that point because he had about like how many OnlyFans streams under his belt, like 6 or 7 or something like that, you know. And they weren't like super long or anything like that, but they interesting. The audio only option in Android app seems to be in line with the chat reaction. The video on the laptop had a delay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the setting for that is. I always wanted to have a dump button for, like, God forbid if he ever said something like really whack out of line that could be like a major TOS thing, that I could just hit the dump button. But it's more complicated than you would think it is. Like, you would think that would be a built-in feature for like Streamlabs, and it's not. Luckily, I haven't needed it. Knock on wood. So Rico says, the amount of lore and getting the concept of this thing really draws you in. Happy to have found something so fucked up but warm and lovable. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, and I can imagine it does take some getting used to and adapting to it, because I always like glancing at the chat and just like, who is this guy? Is this for real? It's usually the same kind of, who is narrator man? Who is the guy talking? And the chat's always almost universally great at like welcoming new people, because there's other streamers or like channels where like a new person will come in and like the community's very harsh on them and they won't be as inviting. And I think here, I think people love the fact that people are discovering Perry for the first time, and they're really inviting and be like, oh, okay, well, that voice is Tom. He's Perry's handler and, you know, manager, you know, director of the stream or whatever. And yeah, no, Perry's real, and this is what's going on, and you know, and they kind of like hold their hand through, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. And sometimes they'll stay for a little bit, and sometimes they'll stay for a long time, and I think that's great. Someone once said I was his caseworker. Well, there's been points where I've had that role. I've literally had every role. I've had every role that you can possibly think of with Perry, and yes, I've been caseworker. I've had that role. So it's not inaccurate to say caseworker. I have definitely done that. I always like too when somebody says like "shut up, narrator man," like a new person, and I guess it would be weird tuning into a stream and like Perry's in the middle of like raging out doing something and you hear this guy like, "All right, Perry, please sit down," and like a new person would be like, "Oh, tell this guy to shut the fuck up." Like I would, I would be, So I like I think somebody called me voice man once, like "shut up, voice man," or "be quiet, voice man," or something like that, or like. It was just funny the way people, because you got to look at it from their point of view, coming into it for the first time or whatever. It's crazy. I'm always blown away by, new eyes on the channel. As they say. More of a guardian angel now, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's a long list. It's some resume. It's a really interesting resume. But anyway, I should probably call it because I do have to be up. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm making a game time decision. There's no way I'm going into the city tomorrow. There's just no way. I'm not going to I don't have to go tomorrow. I was going to go early to get that stupid apartment search over with, but I'll either go... What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. I was going to go tomorrow, or... The week just gets away from you. I'll probably have to go Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know who I'm kidding, thinking I'm going to go tomorrow. There's just no way it's going to work out. I'm just so annoyed that I made all the effort to go there last night and it didn't work out. Hang up on narrator man is a good one too. Yeah. Chris says, shown videos of Perry around work since that time when people pass each other between studios. Each person says, "Have you seen a zebra?" That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to recreate that. And I was really worried tonight that there would be like, somebody would do like one of those videos of like the hallway thing, but not be on the same level, like be really bad looking. And then he'd be like, really, I don't know, not necessarily question it, but like almost take away from everything else. But I'm glad that wasn't the case. But yeah, that's just... God, think of the timing of that. Oh. Have you seen a zebra? And like I said, like last week when that happened, I was dying. And there's very rare times, I can count them on maybe one hand, and maybe two hands at this point, where things happen on the stream where I like laugh like just uncontrollably, and I'm muted. Like Wednesdays, I hang back. I'm doing more technical stuff on Wednesday. And I couldn't catch my breath. I could not catch my breath. I was in tears. I was in fucking tears. And I had to straighten up because then he came back in the apartment and everything, and I was just like, oh my fucking God. Mumbles, I love the story where I went with him to the disability, and all of a sudden he's completely put together and aced it by being completely cognizant. I know, that was one of the worst days of my life, to be honest with you. It was so bad. I had worked so hard for that moment too, where we were back in this office, and for those who don't know, Perry was on disability for a long time and got like a monthly check. The monthly check was getting less and less, and by the way, I've said this before, I think he would have lost it anyway. Just because they were trying to push him off it. That's why he was he was even looking for jobs and stuff like that. But anyway, I had gotten an attorney and everything. Long story short, we were sitting in this office. I've explained this before, but yeah, it was like the WB Frog thing, where the guy finds the frog, and he performs for him privately and does the whole song and dance with the top hat, and the cane, and like, hello my honey, hello my baby, hello my ragtime guy, the whole thing. And then when he's in front of other people, he just like, he's a frog, like ribbit, ribbit. It was like Perry was that, except I wanted him to be ribbit, ribbit, and he was hello my honey, hello my baby, when I needed him to be ribbit, ribbit in front of people. And I was devastated. I was fucking devastated. I had flown all the way out there, and it was just like, I was like, how can you tell Perry to dumb it down? How can you tell him to, like, I mean, I don't want to say, but like, hey, you really need to tart it up. You need to be like Edward Norton in The Score, where he's like, I just like, dumb it down. You can't tell it. You can't. It's like Perry's gonna be Perry. You can't really count on what version of Perry you're gonna get. And that day, he was just all cylinders were clicking, and he answered, "Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Oh no, yeah. Well, do you ever have things of like, even asked about his memory? He's like, sometimes I have a short-term memory problem, but I remember a lot of things. Because he goes on, he adds in stuff. Like, you guys know this just by watching the stream. He adds stuff that's unnecessary to the story. Like, there's even times where he's like, he's addressed a comment, and he's going on and on and on. And even I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to interrupt him. I mean, sometimes I do, but I'm like, all right, Perry, this is an unnecessary addition that you're adding in. And like, he was giving them anecdotal things, like they were asking him questions to determine like whether or not he qualified for disability, and he was just taking it like he was just meeting people and having a friendly chat. And he's like, I remember my mother took me this thing, and like, yeah, like I remember the car. I remember the car was blue. I remember these brown leather seats, and we went down this way. And he's just fucking total recalling this story he's telling, and they're making little notes in this pad, and I'm looking at him with a smile, but I'm really wincing, and I'm just like, you motherfucker, you fucking, I want to murder you right now. They are not going to give you this. This is a complete, like, you are blowing it, and there's no point. Like, there's no, like, excuse me, can we go out in the hallway, please, for a second? Like, Barry, please stop being smart. Stop being. You got to dumb it down. You got to stop. There was that. He was perfect. He was fucking perfect that day. The one day I needed him not to be perfect. The one day I needed him clicking on no cylinders. He found an extra 2. But that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. And I and like I said, we got out of that office, and he was beaming. He was like, "Oh, that went really good." He's like, "How'd I do? And I gave him this fucking look as we're walking down this corridor. We were getting an elevator, and I was like, "How did I do? I did good, right?" And I didn't want to like burst his bubble. What am I gonna say at that point? What am I gonna say? Like, you did terrible. Let's do it again. I was like, yeah. It was fine. You did good. Yeah. Even I was dying inside. Anyway, so that's like, it was the thing where we were meeting these people that could have possibly, I don't even know. And even if like he did, answer the questions the way they needed to hear, I don't even know if it would have worked. But it was just, goddamn, he could not have been more uncooperative with what I needed. And it's very much similar on the stream sometimes. I need him to be a certain way sometimes, and he's not, And but that's the most extreme example of that. Joey told me about the McDonald's call Perry did in May. I mean, yeah, that was another one. Yeah, I was definitely in tears on that one. Yeah, the Score is underrated. I love the Score. I did. I don't know if I told this before. Like, I used to. I used to have this hobby where I would like, if I go to a concert, I would like record it, like get a good audio recording. Like, I had really good microphones. I had a good digital recorder. And sneaking the gear into bigger venues was very hard because, with metal detectors and everything, and I was like, oh, I like mounted on like a hat or like, the seat in front of me. Like, I had all these things where I'd record it, and then like, I mean, I got out. I don't do that anymore. It just became too much work. But anyway, I was going to see Paul McCartney in like 2002 at the Nassau Coliseum, and boy, security was super tight. And and I had this gear on me if they they couldn't get in with it, and they had a metal detector, and I just tarted it up, and I just did my best Edward Norton from The Score, and I just hung my head down, and I just said to my friend who was with me, I said, hey, listen, just go with whatever I'm doing. He's like, oh my God. And I just went up to the security guy who was going to pat me down, and I just hugged him. And I was like, hello, I want to see Paul McCartney. Are you taking me to see Paul McCartney? He's like, no, sir. And there's like a whole line of people. I was like, I want to see Paul. I want to see Paul. And I just like was hitting my head. And my friend was like, all right, please. And they eventually they just let me through. They didn't even put me on the line to go. And I was like, because I was freaking out by the noise of the metal detector too. And my friend's name was Brian. I was like, oh no, Brian. Oh no, that sound. Oh no, that sound. Oh no, please, no, please. Oh no. And I was borrowing from Rain Man too a little bit. And they were, all right, just go. Just get in. Just go. I mean, I could have brought a fucking Uzi to that fucking place. They just wanted nothing to do with me. But I had to commit to it. You can't just go through the security and then all of a sudden be normal. Like I committed to it, and I was that guy till we got to our fucking seats. Like even at the concession stand. You know, it was like. And then I realized I couldn't order a beer because you wouldn't get you wouldn't get something like that a beer. It's like I was like, I'd like a lemonade, please. Can I have a lemonade and a hot dog, please? Whatever we ordered. And then like my friend was getting so annoyed. He was like, all right, when are you gonna fucking drop this? Oh no, I went into the bathroom. I went to the men's room because I had to get all my gear out because they had like stuff down my crotch and shit. And then once I went into the stall and got all my shit out, like the fucking DAT recorder and the microphone and the battery pack and all this shit, and like then when I came out of the stall, I was me again. But yeah, I definitely channeled Edward Norton from that movie. I haven't seen The Score. Edward Norton plays a very like slow adult who's really who's in on this like score to take down this like I forget what it was, like diamonds or something like that. I haven't seen it in a long time, but anyway. That's how I got through security, and I've used it a couple of times. I also did it at another concert in Vegas. Same results every time. It was a home run. I was very passable, which I shouldn't be too proud of, but yet I am. But that was it. I wouldn't try that at an airport or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, I wanted Perry to be more like that at that day. Did I upload? No, I didn't. What did I do with that? I think I shared. There was this forum. I did upload it. I would be very proud of my work too with the concerts. Like I would get a seat that would give the best sound, like in front of like a speaker or something like that. The other thing I would do when I was recording concerts is I didn't figure it out. This was known in the circles of people that record concerts. If you asked for an assisted listening device, back then, I don't know if they still do it now, but you go to a concert, assisted listening devices are available. Now you got to be seriously fucking deaf if you need an assisted listening device at a concert, but they offer them, and they were usually these like little packs. That are tuned into this frequency of the venue, and it has a headphone jack, and you listen on headphones. You raise the volume, and it takes a 9-volt battery. So I would always go and request it, and I'd have like an earpiece. I'd have a fake dummy hearing aid in my ear, and I'd go up and I'd ask for the assisted listening device, and I'd get it, and I wouldn't use the headphones. I would put like a line in a cable into the headphone out. And I would max out. I'd put the volume to like 8 out of the 10, and then I would put the headphone out into the line in on my recorder, and you basically got a soundboard recording, like a perfect recording of the concert that way. I did a couple like that. It came out really nice, but not every venue offers it. And that way you didn't have to do any microphones or anything. You plugged right in to the thing. And I always brought my own battery, 9-volt battery, because I wasn't sure if theirs was gonna wear out or anything like that. But I had all these little tricks that I would do, and it would be very annoying to people I went to concerts with. Like even like I had a girlfriend for a long time, and I could tell her like, hey, don't scream, like don't scream at the concert when so and so comes out, or don't talk to me because it's gonna be picked up on the microphone. And I was so OCD about it that I missed out on a lot of the experiences of the concerts in my desire to get a perfect recording. And I don't really listen to them anymore. Like, I don't really listen to them. I have so many. I did some really good Bowie ones. Now that I'm talking about it, I want to go back and listen to some, but I don't ever listen to them, and so and now I just go to a concert and enjoy it. I mean, it's been so long. I think the last time I did it was like 2011 in Scotland, and that had been after a long break of not doing it. And I have friends that still do it. I have like friends in the community that I met that have the same type of things. Well, you can clap. It's not like don't clap, but you got to like cup your clap, so it's not like a slappy clap. You want it like a cupped clap, where it's like you're making the motion of clapping, but you're not making that smack sound. But anyway, it was ridiculous. And then I'd go into the audio editor and I'd edit out like the little peaks of like claps and stuff. Oh boy, and God fucking help the person that was behind me or in front of me that was just chit chatting. I'd want to murder them. I'd want to murder them. And I would say something, or and I'd have to pick a point like in between songs because I knew I was going to edit it out. I'd be like, hey, did you guys come here to talk, or did you come here to watch the show? You know what I mean? And I tried to get the aggression out before the next song started. So yeah, it was crazy. It was, you know, but there's people that lived and died by that hobby of like, you know, recording shows and like, you know, and I never did it to like sell or anything. I would make a profit. I just did it because I enjoyed it. And then I did have people pay me. Like there was this network of people, and like somebody would pay me, like, hey, here's a free ticket to see so and so at Radio City Music Hall, and then they pay me like $200 to go see the show. And most of the time, it would be something I would be into seeing anyway. Thank you, dudes. Does Perry know how much he can make in a 24-hour stream? I don't know. I don't know how much could he make in a 24-hour stream, because you're gonna have most of your regulars. And are they going to be, like, are you going to be fucking sending in tip comments 24 hours? I don't know. I mean, that how's that going to work? I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, oh yeah, those tone deaf women that are screaming along every song behind you. I've had those too. The best bet is, like, when you have, like, a general admission ticket, you can, like, slide away from those people and find a better spot. But if you're in a seated venue, you just gotta fucking live with it. There was this one. Shit, I forgot. Well, I didn't forget about it. It's just like, it's interesting. It's on the line where, like, this is when I knew I was done with the hobby. Like, and I think this is like 2007 maybe or something like that. And I went to see Morrissey in Boston. And I was on the floor. I was right by the sound desk because I determined like this venue, and by the way, you always knew what venues had the best sound. Like, you go on the forums, so it's like, oh, where are you going to stand for this forum? Like, okay, I'm going to the House of Blues in Boston. Oh, you want to stand right to the side of the mixing desk. Okay, that'll be. So I was standing there, and there was this girl, this blonde girl that was like, she was very attractive, and she was definitely had a few drinks in her, but she was like chatting me up in during the concert, and she'd come on by herself. And then what am I going to do? Like, do I just be a dick and ignore her because I want to record the concert, or do I engage with her? So I engaged with her a little bit. And then there was like a song I didn't like. I was like, all right, I don't really care about this song. So, and then she started like getting like really touchy-feely. Long story short, we started like getting hot and heavy. And there was a point in the concert where I was like, all right, I'm completely abandoning recording this. I am just going to focus on this fucking crazy girl. And I did. And no regrets. It turned into a very interesting night, but that was the night I knew I was kind of done with it. I was like, oh, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. Like what's the point too? And I was just like, you know, I'm a little older now. I don't really get at, and when do I ever play these back? I was like, I feel like this is some OCD thing that, you know, I just need to retire. But that was it. That was the last time. And then I did it maybe the odd time once or twice after that. And I still have reoccurring dreams where I'm at this amazing concert. It's always like I don't know, like some crazy thing, like the Smiths or something like that reunited, or like I don't know, like Bowie. I have dreams that I'm seeing Bowie, even though I know he passed away, but like, oh, maybe he didn't, and it was just a play, and I should be, and I bring a recorder, but the battery's dead or something like that, and I'm not getting it, and no one's ever going to believe that this concert took place. I still have those kind of weird dreams. Ooh, your friend tried to record Jerry Seinfeld and got caught with his recorder. How do you get caught these days? Because that used to be a thing where you can get caught with a recorder because, you know, a lot of them had like an LCD light, and the light would shine, and then people like security or whatever, they'd be able to spot the light, and they'd investigate. Now everybody has a fucking phone. Like, how are you enforcing that now? I've never been caught with audio. I tried video a couple of times, and I did get caught once with video, and they confiscated the tape, and it was right towards the end of the show too. I made it through 90% of the show, and they confiscated it, and I just realized that video was not for me, and that was back before like smartphones, you know, so this was like a mini DV camera or something like that. But yeah, that wasn't for me. Oh, you never saw Bowie, Mumbles? Yeah, I'm lucky enough to say I've seen him, I saw him a number of times, and every time was great. Okay, 2005, 2006, I could see that era, but yeah, you can't be stupid. You can't hold the recorder in your hand. I record. You know what? I still record the occasional comedy show, but like, the only comedy shows I go to, like anytime I see Norm Macdonald, I record it. I have some. But I don't go crazy. I don't bring like external mics. I'll just record off like I have a pretty good like audio recorder that I use for work. Like I do voice work and stuff like that, and sometimes I'll need to record something in the field or whatever. So I have this like high-end audio recorder. I'll just bring that, and I like put it under the seat or something like that. I would never do that for music because, you know, the sound's gonna be muffled. But for stand-up, it's fine. But no, I've never ever been caught recording audio, and I would want to record stand up. Again, not too many stand ups because I hate just about every stand up, but you know, I want to remember it. Ooh, I was gonna go to that show, Mumbles, the Supergrass at Brooklyn Steel. I remember that. Yeah, I'm not a huge Supergrass thing, but my friend is a huge Supergrass fan, and yeah, I was supposed to go. I had supposed to go to that same show. I got like, and there's nobody. I'm seeing the Monkees in October a couple of times, and I don't know, the Rolling Stones. I got to see. I guess I'll see the Rolling Stones now, but it's like, you know, it feels slightly different now. I might see Guns N' Roses again. In September, only because a friend of mine wants to go, and she's never seen them, and another friend, so we make like a social thing out of it. But you know, we'll see. Trying to see. The Rolling Stones are where are they playing in New York? Oh, they're not playing it. Well, maybe they are. No, they're not playing anywhere near here. Pittsburgh, PA is the closest. I'm not going there. Minnesota, Florida, Texas, Las Vegas. Well, I think those are makeup shows too. Yeah, I like Space Hog. Yeah, and I like Supergrass. You know, I was more into them like 20 years ago. And there's a lot of bands I was into 20 years ago that I find myself getting. Like, I have these really nice speakers that I'm finally able to play and use because I lived in an apartment and you can't really play music loud, and I'm trying to rediscover a lot of music that I liked, that I kind of got away from, and Supergrass definitely one of those bands. But yeah, I liked all that stuff in that era. I was really into Britpop for a long time, and even some bands that were kind of extended out of Britpop, but were kind of pigeonholed into it. But yeah, I trying to get more into music. I'd rather listen to music than watch TV at this point. But I just don't find the time for it. And the other thing too about having like really expensive, like well, they are expensive, the speakers I have, but everything you buy for it's got to be expensive too. Like, you can't get a cheap amp for it. You got to get decent this and decent that. So it's just kind of a pain in the ass. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. 7 hours and 30 minutes. Thanks for hanging out. It's it's almost 4 o'clock, so I'm definitely not getting up early tomorrow. I thought I was. Well, I still have to get up, but I'm not going. I was gonna go in like super early in the morning when the court's open, but I'm not doing that tomorrow. I've done enough. But yeah, we'll see you on Friday for Mailbag Friday, and thanks to everybody that hung out the entire stream. Especially special super cred to anybody that hung out all 7.5 hours, and I'm glad people like the media share, and every media share tonight was amazing. Everything was great. Everything was awesome tonight. Thanks to all the new people. Thanks to all the old people. Thanks to the VIPs. Thanks to the future VIPs, and thanks to the subscribers. Thanks to the followers. Thanks to the people that stumbled in for the first time. Thanks to everybody. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do an after hours tonight. I couldn't have handled it. By the way, just again, if I'm gonna ban chapstick from Perry, I really got to stop saying that. Because sometimes I stick to it, and most times I don't, because I'm just a fucking asshole. But I like this. For me, this detoxes me from the stress of the stream. And I don't mean like it's stressful, but it's like, there's a lot of moving parts to it. So like, us hanging out like this after the stream, and we'll make this after hours better, more communal and stuff down the road. But it helps me because, I wouldn't be going right to bed because I can't. My brain's kind of fried from it, and it's a nice little detox. It's like, we can have a drink, we could talk, we could hang out, we could talk about movies or whatever, and sometimes Perry stuff and sometimes not. But I like this because it's just it's a nice little come down from the stream for me, and if that's what it is to you, then that's great too. But yeah, I'm an idiot for saying that there was going to be no after hours tonight, because I don't even know how long the after hours was, but it's just I like hanging out with you guys, so it's a huge benefit to me, because otherwise I don't know, maybe go for a walk or like there's no way I'm going right to bed after this. There's just no way, especially the nights where he's really hot, like hot the whole time. There's no way I can turn that off. But cool. Thanks, Happy Time Harry. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks everybody. And Danko, thank you, as always. Good guy. And we'll talk to you on Friday. See you then. Oh yeah, keep an eye out for the chapstick scam. That could happen at any moment. You guys keep your eyes peeled for the chapstick scam. No, I'm serious, but I wasn't joking around that ban. That's a hard ban. No more chapstick. Alright. Fucking crickets drive me crazy. Alright. Good night.